Hello, my name is Irina and I'm one of the librarians at Medway Libraries. I'm going to read you an extract from a very early Charles Dickens's short stories. It was written in 1837 and is entitled Public Life of Mr Tulrumble, once Mayor of Mudfog. I hope you enjoy it. Mudfog is a pleasant town, a remarkably pleasant town situated in a charming hollow by the side of a river, from which river Mudfog derives an agreeable scent of pitch, tar, coals, and rope yarns, a roving population in oilskin hats, a pretty steady influx of drunken bargemen, and a great many other maritime adventures. There is a good deal of water about Mudfog, and yet it is not exactly the sort of town for a watering place either. Water is a perverse sort of element at the best of times, and in Mudfog it is particularly so. In winter, it comes oozing down the streets and tumbling over the fields. Nay, it rushes into the very cellars and kitchens of the houses with a lavish prodigality that might well be dispensed with. But in the hot summer weather it will dry up and turn green. And although green is a very good colour in a way, especially in grass, still it certainly is not becoming to water. And it cannot be denied that the beauty of Mudfog is rather impaired even by this trifling circumstance. Mudfog is a healthy place, very healthy, damp perhaps, but none the worse for that. It is quite a mistake to suppose that damp is unwholesome. Plants thrive best in damp circumstances, so why shouldn't men? The inhabitants of Mudfog are unanimous in asserting that there exists not a finer race of people on the face of the earth. Here we have an indisputable and veracious contradiction of the vulgar error at once. So, admitting Mudfog to be damp, we distinctly state that it is salubrious. The town of Mudfog is extremely picturesque. Limehouse and Ratcliffe Highway are both something like it, but they give you a very faint idea of Mudfog. There are a great many more public houses in Mudfog, more than in Ratcliffe Highway and Limehouse put together. The public buildings, too, are very imposing. We consider the town hall one of the finest specimens of shed architecture extant. It is a combination of the pigsty and the tea garden box orders, and the simplicity of its design is of surpassing beauty. The idea of placing a large window on one side of the door and a small one on the other is particularly happy. There is a fine old Doric beauty too about the padlock and the scraper, which is, strictly speaking, in keeping with the general effect. In the room do the mayor and corporation of Mudfog assemble together in solemn council for the public weal. Seated on the massive wooden benches, which, with a table in the centre, form the only architecture of the wide shed apartment, the sage men of Mudfog spend hour after hour in grave deliberation. Here they settle at what hour of the night the public houses shall be closed, at what hour of the morning they shall be permitted to open, how soon it shall be lawful for the people to eat their dinner on church days, and other great political questions. And sometimes long after silence has fallen on the town and the distant lights of the shops and houses have ceased to twinkle like far-off stars to the side of the boatman on the river, the illumination in the two unequal-sized windows of the town hall warns the inhabitants of Mudfog that its little body of legislators, like a larger and better-known body of the same genus, a great deal more noisy and not a whit more profound, are patriotically dozing away in company far into the night for their country's good.